You know, Jason Goes to Hell wasn't that bad.
Just look at the flowers. Just look at the flowers. Why won't you die?
Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those two others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. His name was Jason.
Jason Goes to Hell. I originally had a much longer version of this video that I shot, but it wound up, I threw it in the editing bay, and I thought I had talked for maybe 40 minutes, which is a little long for for these videos, but not unheard of. And it was an hour and 12 minutes, and it turns out I just ranted a lot. And there's a good chunk of it that's like, you know, it gets a little repetitive. It's very not funny. It's a very not funny thing. And so I decided, you know what? Most people do not want to hear my rants. Most people just want to watch a review that's mildly entertaining at the very least. So I will put that video up potentially later today. Today is kind of a busy day, but I think I can get it done and uploaded like after my live show or something. So that will be up if you really, really, really want to listen to me rant. I do not go over everything I could go over in that rant somehow, and I'm not going to go over everything now because I want this to be a nice, simple, quick review. So if you want to watch that, check that out. Let's just dig into this piece of shit. So, and actually, you know what? Let's start off by let's go over the plot. Let's just lay it out real quick. So Jason Voorhees is a mass murderer in a small town, and so the FBI sends a team to blow him up. They do so. However, it turns out that Jason is actually some form of ancient evil, a being that either is or is inhabited by a demonic body-hopping creature that just wants to kill. Okay? This creature compels a coroner, masterfully played by Richard Gant, to eat Jason's heart, thereby passing the demonic being into his body. He goes on a rampage and returns to Crystal Lake in order to find his long-lost sister, whom we of course have never heard of up until this point, and who luckily has a daughter and a granddaughter, so, you know, she can die. Oh, and by the way, Jason's host rapidly decomposes, so he's gonna need a new body real quick, and it's gonna have to be a blood relative at some point, because that's the only kind of body that will not deteriorate. How he makes it from, I think, Ohio to New Jersey with just one body, when we see them decomposing within hours later, is Anyway, the father of said granddaughter, Stephen Freeman, is lucky enough to be there when the sister is murdered by Jason, and he winds up in a cell next to Creighton Duke, who knows all the rules of Jason because he's Creighton Duke. And so Stephen must convince his baby mama to help him send Jason to hell and protect their daughter by stabbing him with a magic transforming dagger.
I do.
Friday the 13th. Now, before I dive into my central thesis here, I do want to point out that there's a lot to like in Jason Goes to Hell. The characters, while not exactly deep or complicated like the director might think, are generally fun. There's too many of them, but enough rise to the surface as wacky and memorable that they are definitely a highlight. Our main guy, Steven, is more than serviceable as the protagonist. Creighton Duke doesn't live up to his potential in the end, and he's basically just walking exposition, but he's real fucking weird, and Stephen Williams oozes charisma the whole damn time. Easily best performance of the film. Stephen Culp is delightfully absurd as a yuppie journalist turned Jason meat puppet.
I stole Diana's body, and I hid it here in the closet. And then I went home and fucked her daughter.
And Carrie Keegan as Jessica Kimball is a solid enough, if underutilized, heroine. Maybe if she was named Steven, she'd be better, but she's not, so. Oh, and these weirdos are a lot of fun too.
God, I love this woman. Hold me back. You guys make me sick.
Beyond that, this movie has some very energetic scenes, some film school leftover camera work that can be pretty fun. Manfredini's score is suitably epic, and the opening is a fantastic short film deconstructing the slasher archetype. Oh, and Kane Hodder's cameo is next level. Like, I love his cameo in this movie. It is phenomenal.
You want nothing but a big old pussy anyway.
Tonight, on American Case File, Jason Voorhees, dead or deadly?
Now I'll get to a few, like one more big positive in a second. I haven't forgotten about it. I'm getting there. When I see people say this is their favorite Friday the 13th movie, or that it's a great Friday the 13th movie, their reasoning, and by the way, if that's you, cool, I'm not disparaging you. It's A-okay. I'm glad you get enjoyment out of this movie, legitimately. I'm very happy. But this is my review, so we're not going to talk about enjoyment. When people say that it's their favorite, it's the best, it generally boils down to three things: the special effects, the gore, or the kills, the weirdness, and it's different. They love that it's different. So let's get the gore out of the way first. Yes, this movie has staggeringly great work from K&B Effects, no doubt about it. The melting man, the demon crawling out of the head, that phenomenal body slice in the tent, almost every effect is a total masterclass. However, since when is Friday the 13th great because of the gory kills? Throughout this entire series, an ongoing issue has been the MPAA's effect on the series. Almost every one of them has been severely hampered in the effects department. And it's frustrating. Like, it's really, really frustrating. But it's not frustrating because those effects made the movies what they were. It's that the cuts either hurt the editing or because we just wanted to see all that hard work. And in some cases, yeah, it was just a cool scene, you know? Like, it was just cool. It was cool that, you know, he stabbed two people at once and we wanted to see the spear go through both bodies. Sure. But the movies we fell in love with, the movies that were released theatrically, didn't have that. Hell, most of them still don't have that, and we still love them. So the gore is obviously not a dominating factor. Friday the 13th, as a series, is not about gore or tits, even if Adam Marcus seems convinced that it is. It's about setup and payoff amidst a specific atmosphere. The first two films in particular are easily the best in regards to the latter because they have that great northeastern setting and they feel like campfire tales come to life. So the gore is great in this film. It is phenomenal. Again, that tent scene, while I don't think it's the best kill in the series, is amazing. It is a great kill. But how any of that makes for the best Friday the 13th is beyond me, because that's not what this franchise is about. So next up, the weirdness. Again, I wouldn't say weird is the operative word in what I look for in a Friday flick, but I'm also certainly not opposed to it. I enjoy weirdness. I enjoy creative risks. And here, again, yeah, there is some great weirdness at play. It's all very weird and quirky, but to what end? Weird for weird's sake is not something that really gets my goat. It's the same as being politically incorrect just to get a reaction. First few gags, it's like, you're funny, you know, fuck norms, ha. But then by like the fourth dead baby joke, it's like, what else you got, man? What's the substance here? Give me something. Because that gets old really fast. Because it's just for the sake of it. You need some kind of reasoning behind that weirdness. And I don't see that here. This appears to just be, hey, wouldn't it be weird if such and such? Wouldn't it be weird if Creighton Duke said this funny line?
Well, that makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Wouldn't it be weird if Jason shaved this guy's mustache? Wouldn't it be weird if our main guy stole his buddy cop's gun and then they had a delightful little exchange next to the cop car? Oh, and what if he wanted to be arrested because he needs to go save his lady? Wouldn't it be weird if Jason was a deadite? Like, there's so many what ifs here, but why? Just 'cause. And finally, it's different. There's an old adage that you've probably heard. I'm willing to bet, because it's the most often used one ever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And while I do think that this franchise definitely could have used some tinkering at this point, I'm not sure what doing something completely different accomplishes. This isn't a Friday the 13th movie. It throws out all the mythology. It ignores almost all of Jason's qualities after we exit that first sequence. And the most Friday the 13th aspect was added after principal photography 6 months later at the studio's behest. And it's the best scene in the movie. But more importantly, just how different is it? It's a 90s comic book come to life, complete with the talking head newsman dumping plot exposition. The random as all fuck mythology is that Jason has been body hopping all this time, and the only way to kill him is by a blood relative stabbing him with a magic dagger on account of the fact that he's a deadite. Yeah, that's different, but generally when I think different, I also think original. This is just a bunch of schoolyard fan fiction with a budget. And to what end? It seems to me that what happened here is you had a producer who was given the opportunity by a new studio to take back the franchise he started. But said producer didn't like the thing that made the series most popular for the last decade and wanted to get rid of its kind of important iconography. He's then presented with a guy who he trusts because, let me check my notes here, he grew up with his son and recently graduated film school. Dope. I mean, you know, what else could you ask for in a filmmaker to potentially end one of the biggest franchises in horror history? What more? What more could you ask for? This guy, Adam Marcus, wanted to make an Evil Dead movie, but unfortunately, he just couldn't nepotism his way into that franchise. So he took what he could get, threw out everything he didn't want to do, and again, spurred on by the producer who doesn't like the thing most people associate with this series, that they are, again, creating a finale to, made a movie that he, a 25-year-old, felt was more adult. His words, by the way, not mine. So, what is Jason Goes to Hell? It is a try-hard early 90s horror action movie that wants to have compelling characters and great gore and zero attributes associated with its franchise, while also being called Jason Goes to Hell: The Final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell, and I only realize this now, is elevated horror in the worst possible way. It is a film that feels it is superior to all that came before it, and fails to live up to any of them. It is a film so obsessed with being original that it simply cannibalized all the tropes not central to its predecessor's success, and in doing so created one of the most derivative, lame, try-hard bits of nonsense to ever hit the big screen. Would I like this more if it wasn't a Friday the 13th film? Probably, but only because I wouldn't be frustrated by the gargantuan unearned hubris on display. However, even then, I can't say it's a particularly good film. It looks drab, the directing is exactly what you'd expect from a film school graduate in 1993, and its desperation, though often resulting in cool effects and some memorable characters, ultimately winds up being just the worst kind of cringe. So congrats, Jason Goes to Hell. Your unique quality is that you suck. You are the worst film in this franchise, and for those that like you, at least you're different.
Go to hell!
Now, I know I didn't go into like a ton of specifics there. That's only because I'm honestly just tired of talking about this movie. Let's just dive into the special features real quick. So we have both the unrated and the theatrical versions. I only watched the unrated for this because I'm not going to watch this more than once. It's funny because I remember liking this when I was younger, but last time I saw it, like 2 years ago, I was not as enthralled. I thought it was kind of bad, but fun in its own way. And now this time I just fucking couldn't stand it. With part of that being colored by watching the special features. I think I might have actually liked this more if I had not watched the special features. So first off, we get a 2K scan of the inner positive. It looks good. This is for me the ugliest film in the franchise, but as far as the actual transfer, it looks perfectly fine. I didn't see anything seriously wrong with it. It is about as good as it's going to look, and it's not going to look very good to start with. But we get an audio commentary with Adam Marcus and Peter Bracke. It starts off with Adam Marcus complaining about the extras wanting more pay for being FBI agents in the opening, which, okay, that's one hill. He also doesn't seem to have a very high regard for the unique qualities of the previous entries, or for the work of those directors, specifically stating that he wanted to give this entry a filmmaker's approach. And he is then very quick to compare his journey to that of Orson Welles. And he also, he mentions different a lot. He really wanted something to be different. And, if the purpose is I wanted to be different, then who the fuck cares, Adam? He mentions here and elsewhere that he wanted to make a movie for people in their 20s, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. He also talks about how he wanted this to be the logical entry in the franchise, which is humorous to me, because to me this is the least logical film in the entire series. I mean, it's if your logic takes the form of Creighton Duke's just unending exposition that has apparently no origin, he just knows all this stuff, then it's not really logic. That's just you giving yourself permission to not care. But whatever. Suggest that you like logic. That's fine. He also doesn't seem to understand the idea of the final scene in the original Friday the 13th being a dream, which I always thought was just something that we all agreed on. I thought that was common knowledge that was supposed to be a dream, but apparently not. Apparently, it turns out I've been wrong this entire time, because that's not a dream. That's 100% accurate. And he decided to make an entire film based on the idea that Jason grew 2 feet in 2 weeks. Again, his words, not mine. I lasted 15 minutes and I had to quit. I couldn't deal listening to him. But that's a new commentary for all you fans. There's a new interview with Adam Marcus that's 36 minutes, and I listened to every minute of it because I hate myself. He talks about how Steven was supposed to be Tommy Jarvis in the original script, which would have certainly been more interesting. He wanted the film to be about AIDS, which when he says it, like, I understand where that is in the film. I don't know that it's as subversive as he thinks it is. He seems to think that he's like some kind of hero that came up with the idea of the AIDS metaphor, but I hate to break it to you, pal, that had been around already. It was 1993. He also seems to think that he's like subversive for being very inclusive and how the horror genre needs to be inclusive. I'm not sure what the fuck movie he thinks he made. Like, I don't remember the overt gay relationship in this movie. And in the interview, they cut to the shot of Creighton Duke's hand touching Stevens before he breaks his finger. I guess if that's gay subtext, then cool. I don't know that that's really all that subversive, but, to each their, I guess, you know what? Edgelords feel edgy. He doesn't seem to understand the appeal of Friday the 13th. And, it's a great idea to have characters with real problems. It's a great idea to explore the town of Crystal Lake, but that's not the fucking movie you made, pal. A diner and a sheriff's department is not a town. But
I know that there are fans now, like, after I dropped the bomb, that, yes, he is a Deadite. Sorry, kids. That's not canon. No, it is canon. It's in Friday the 13th. Sorry, I made one of those movies. It's canon. Deal with it.
What a douche. Let's see. Jason vs. Terminator is 11 minutes. It's just an extension of that interview in which Adam Marcus talks about his childhood friendship with Noel Cunningham, which led to this travesty. Uber Jason is 28 minutes. That's an interview with Kane Hodder on playing Jason, and that's great. He talks about Ken Kersinger on the set of Jason Takes Manhattan. He talks about doing motion capture for the game. And he even points out his big sticking point with this film, which is, you know, pretty much he puts it perfectly.
You know, I don't mind trying to change it up. To me, you have to keep the character more consistent with what people are used to. Change the setting, change anything else, but keep the character consistent. That was just my feeling.
So, fantastic interview. I loved his interview. And he's a cool dude. Then we get additional TV footage, which includes new optional audio commentary with director Adam Marcus and author Peter Bracke. That's 12 minutes. And actually, I like this new footage, or the TV, or not new, but I like this TV footage. I wish it was in the actual film, to be honest. Like, I could use a lot more character stuff. I think that would have helped the film a lot, just because, you know, if you're going to make a movie that's held together by fun characters, you probably wanted them to, you know, have characterization. Apparently, Adam Marcus compares himself to Scorsese on this commentary, so I'm good. Thank you. Next. Then we get an archival commentary with Adam Marcus and Dean Lorey. They mentioned early on the idea of Jason in LA killing off rival gangs as an idea they had before Sean Cunningham was like, no mask! So, yeah, that sounds pretty great. I might actually not hate Adam Marcus if he had made that movie, but here we are. On the theatrical disc, we also get a theatrical trailer, TV spots, stills, galleries, and a look at the Friday the 13th Prop Museum, a book. So that is the thing. There's no behind-the-scenes like featurette or anything, which is weird. I don't know why there's not one of those. I don't know if, I guess none was made, but it seems like that would have happened. It seems like they would have had one in 1993, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It is, you know, if you love this movie, then I think that these are pretty good special features for you. If you don't think that Adam Marcus is the definition of douche chills, then there's plenty of great material for you to dig into. But for me, fuck this movie and fuck this director. Yeah, go watch a movie.